In order to pass the CPA exam, you must score a minimum of 75 on a scale of 0 to 99 to pass each part. So, how is the CPA exam scored? And does a score of 75 mean that 75% of your answers are correct? This is what I will explain in this video. Hey future CPAs, this is Ala Abudaya. I'm a licensed CPA in the state of Colorado and I help students pass the CPA exam and become CPAs. If this is your first time here and you're interested in becoming CPAs, start by subscribing to our channel and clicking the bell in order not to miss any of my videos. As most of you know, the passing score for the CPA exam is a 75. This score is usually misinterpreted in different ways. What you must know is that your CPA score is not a raw score, not a percentage, and not graded on a curve. Rather, your CPA exam score is a weighted combination of your scaled scores. The CPA exam is meant to test your accountancy knowledge and your ability to apply that knowledge as a future CPA. Before walking into the parametric testing center, you must know how each CPA exam section is scored and tips for how you can perform your best on the CPA exam day. To learn how to apply for the CPA exam, make sure to grab your free CPA exam application cheat sheet. It's in the description below. It's totally free and it will explain how to apply for the CPA exam on a step-by-step basis. So what does a 75 mean and how is the CPA exam scored? Here is what you should know. Number one, the CPA exam is an adaptive test that uses what is called the multi-stage testing. Let me explain. You will get 2 multiple choice testlets for all 4 parts of the CPA exam. The first testlet is always a medium testlet. If you perform well on the first testlet, you will get a more difficult second testlet, and if you do not perform well on the first testlet, you will receive a second medium difficulty testlet. The reason for using the multi-stage testing is to allow your performance level to be measured more accurately. Keep in mind that difficult questions have higher point value. Even if you get more wrong answers in the difficult testlets, they may still be better than those who got stuck in the medium level testlets. This is simply because answering more difficult multiple choice questions correctly is weighted more in your scoring than answering less difficult multiple choice questions correctly. To learn how to master multiple choice questions on the CPA exam, make sure to watch these 2 videos which I gave great multiple choice question tips. Task-based simulations, however, are pre-assigned and not chosen based on your performance on the multiple choice testlets. Comment below and tell me which do you find more difficult, task-based simulations or multiple choice questions. Number 2, in all the 4 parts of the CPA exam, there's a certain number of pre-test questions that do not count in your scores. These questions look exactly the same as the graded ones, and you can never know which questions are the pre-test questions which are never scored. To learn the 4 parts of the CPA exam and the structure of the exam, make sure to watch these 2 videos which I explained about these 2 topics. Number 3, each CPA exam section score is reported on a scale that ranges from 0 to 99. A total reported score of 75 is required to pass each section. This is not a percentage correct score, nor can it be interpreted as a percentage. The total score in the audit, FAR, and RIC sections is a weighted combination of scaled scores from the multiple choice questions and task-based simulations. For the BEC section, the total score is a weighted combination of scaled scores from the multiple choice questions, task-based simulations, and written communication tasks. Scaled scores on the multiple choice question and task-based simulation portions of the examination are calculated using formulas that take into account factors such as whether the question was never answered correctly and the relative difficulty of each question. To get my best tips and tricks to pass each section of the CPA exam, check these 4 videos which I gave my best tips and tricks to pass the FAR part of the exam, the audit part of the exam, the RIC part of the exam, and the BEC part of the exam. Number 4, Each section contains multiple choice questions and task-based simulations, weighted at 50% of the final section score, except for BEC. The BEC section is the only section that contains written communication questions. While multiple choice questions are still worth 50%, task-based simulations in the BEC are worth 35% and written communication questions are worth 15%. Individual questions are weighted by if the answer was correct or not and the relative difficulty of the question. Here's a summary of the 4 parts and the questions you're gonna get. So you're gonna have the audit, BEC, FAR, and RIG. Each one is a 4-hour exam. Now the audit, you're gonna get a total of 72 multiple choice questions. The BEC, you're gonna get 62 multiple choice questions. The FAR, 66 multiple choice questions. And the RIG, you're gonna get 76 multiple choice questions. You're gonna get for FAR, audit, and RIG, 8 task-based simulations. For the BEC, you're gonna get 4 task-based simulations and 3 written communications. Now the CPA exam scoring by the section and question type, you're gonna have, of course, multiple choice questions and task-based simulations, as I said, and written communications only for the BEC. Now for the audit, FAR, and RIG, multiple choice questions will form 50% of the CPA exam, and task-based simulations will form 50%. For the BEC section only, multiple choice questions will form 50%, task-based simulations will form 35%, and written communications will form 15%. So this is a summary about the exam structure and the scoring percentage of the exam structure. So each exam has 5 testlets. The first 2 testlets are multiple choice questions. The remaining 3 testlets are task-based simulations. Now to learn my best tips and tricks to tackle the task-based simulations of the CPA exam, make sure to watch these 4 videos which I gave my best tips and tricks to master the task-based simulations, master the journal entry simulations, master the document review simulations, and learn the 5 types of task-based simulations you will face on the CPA exam. Number 5. The scoring for every section of the CPA exam is completely automated, except for written communication. This means that the CPA exam is graded by a computer instead of humans. The score release process has many checks and balances built into it to ensure absolute fairness. Task-based simulations are graded positively, meaning that you are not penalized for answering incorrectly. It is better to guess, giving yourself a 25% chance of getting it right than not answering at all and getting a 0. All the tasks required to solve this type of simulations are meant to reflect actual scenarios that new CPAs might face in the real world. On the other hand, BEC's written communication is the only section of the CPA exam that is scored by a computer and humans as well. If you fall short of the passing score by a small margin, the written communication portion of the exam is regraded by human scores. The main point of this type of question is to judge your communication skills. Watch this video to learn my best tips and tricks on how to master written communications on the BEC exam. Number 6. The CPA exam score is not graded on a curve. Grading on a curve implies that an average score is calculated for the individuals who take an exam, and everybody's scores are compared with this average, which is not the case. Instead, your CPA exam score is a weighted combination of your scaled scores. To learn how to increase your CPA exam score and study smarter for the CPA exam, watch these 2 videos which I explained about these 2 topics. So this is how the CPA exam is basically scored. You should know that the score you get is not equal to the percentage of correct answer in the exam. For example, if you get a 75, it does not mean that 75% of the questions correct. Rather, your score is calculated based on using a weighted combination of scaled scores from each testlet of the CPA exam, and the examiners utilize a fancy system to calculate all of these. So, to pass the CPA exam, you should be fully prepared mentally and technically in order to get the score of 75. Make sure to watch this video to learn the 7 mentalities that usually cause CPA exam candidates to fail in order to avoid and beat these mentalities. Most importantly, practice as much questions as you can and keep your eyes always on the clock and keep your eyes also on your CPA review course analytics. Comment below and tell me, how are you scoring in your practice exams while practicing and studying for the CPA exam? Finally, the CPA exam is scored fairly. All of you guys will get the score you deserve, and the ones who are prepared well and really understand the concepts are the ones who deserve to pass and are the ones that will pass, and the ones who are not prepared will not pass, because it's totally a fair exam and it's a fair scoring system that is comparable between all of the CPA exam candidates. So put your effort and time and hard work and prepare properly for the CPA exam to get the passing score and become a CPA. Remember, go after what you want, pass the CPA exam, because you can become CPAs and save the world.